Welcome to another episode of The Sweet Life powered by
the Agency Bahamas.
I'm your host, Giorgio Knowles, with Bobby Chen, and we have a special guest with us today, Jak Hanniby Cummins from the Palm Cay development.
Let's give him a round of applause.
Hey. As customary, you know what we like to do before we start. Take our little swig.
Cheers
hey, welcome
to the Sweet Life. Let's do it.
Oof. 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 That was good.
Yeah, smooth.
Early.
Not early.
So we like to start off with our wrist check as well. Bobby, lead us off.
I'm wearing the Patek 5930G, which is a world time chrono.
I've got a Daytona Steel Sport
Ceramic
white face.
Panda.
Yeah, white
Beautiful
face of the
classic.
Panda, yeah.
I'm rocking the Omega Limited Edition Seamaster 007
Bond
No
version.
Time to Die.
Aluminum.
In honor of Jak. I think he could be the next James Bond, so I wanted to.
Long now.
Got the right nationality.
That's true. But it's another exciting episode. We get to sit down with a $100 million developer here in the Bahamas.
That's right.
So we're going to jump right into it. Jak, what is it like running a huge development like this in the Bahamas, from concept to completion? How does that process work?
Yeah. Well, first of all, thanks for having me, guys. It's nice that obviously we go way back. Actually, both of us do, but me and you especially. So really nice to have you have me on your show. So I moved here to work at Palm Cay 8 years ago. It's been a bit of a wild ride since then, because what we've managed to accomplish in these last 8 years, I certainly didn't envision when I got here. So it's amazing to see where we are now. Like I said, when I first got here, we weren't even thinking of kind of the scale that we've built out to right now. We were just thinking, make little steps, little bits of progress, and then from there, it's basically snowballed into what Palm Cay is today. In terms of the day-to-day running of Palm Cay, it could be a million different things, literally. Some days it might be dealing with government items, whether it's Ministry of Works, whether it's real property tax, Department of Inland Revenue, which is always fun. So there's a lot just on the financial side, whether it's our internal financials or external, dealing with external audits, government items, etc. But then it might be sitting down and going over anything from architecturals, structurals, MEP drawings, or in situ, on the site. Then you might be dealing with clients, whether it's existing clients you've got and who are under contract for pre-construction products, or new clients coming in. Then we might spend an hour or two going over orders we've got coming in, because for all of these buildings, we order everything internally. Then it might be dealing with even small items. So when clients are doing punch, obviously we have people who take care of that. But if it gets if there's anything that needs my attention, I'll always have little items to deal with like that. Then it can be anything on the POA side. So I'm a director of the POA, so I put a lot of time into that, specifically on the insurance side, which is super important. The marina does take up a lot of my time
Jak,
as well.
do you sleep, Jak?
Yeah.
Do you
Depends on the
actually
day.
sleep?
Honestly, depends on the day. No, it's to be honest. When you're listing out like that, it sounds like a lot. Once you get into the swing of it, and once you've been doing it, and it's your life. Also, I'm quite lucky in terms of for you have no choice but to balance your family, your wife, your kids, and you have to put however many hours in the day that just automatically come with that. I'm very fortunate in that sense that I don't have any of those. I don't want to call them ties, because it's your life. But I don't have any of that. So when I'm coming home at 8-9 o'clock at night, I'm not thinking, shit, I've got to go sort the kids out, or what's my wife needs to be doing. I don't have any of that. All I'm thinking is okay, oh crap, I got another email here, or I've got another thing that I need to deal with.
Is this an indirect declaration that he's single and free and ready to mingle? I don't know.
No, I'm not. I'm not really a
big
big mingling topic. I like to keep myself to myself.
That's good. That's awesome.
But
I mean, from my perspective, as someone who has lived in the East all of his life, and I've been a part of Palm Cay for when they first put the clubhouse, it was just bush. And now every time I drive in Palm Cay, I feel like another building has gone up overnight, almost. And that speaks a lot to your product and what people want right now.
yes, I mean when you come into a unit like this and everything's finished and it looks fantastic, people come out, of course, and comment, wow, it looks great. But obviously the process of getting to that point is a several year process. So for instance, like right now we just started building One Marina Phase 4, which is our latest One Marina product. Obviously we built out phases 1 through 3 so far. So we just started building Phase 4, and right now you'll see blocks coming out of the ground, you'll see concrete be pouring, and that's obviously progressing to the naked eye obviously very well, very quickly. But behind that, a year prior to One Marina 4, we were making a lot of tweaks because the building is slightly different. So throughout the last year, we've been talking about so many small details that again you never really notice in a unit, whether it's even door swings, beam depth. So
Lighting fixtures,
so you've got enough space for your services to go through. Window headers and heights, door headers and heights, all your little recesses within the building. So you've got architectural detail. So you're not just looking at, say,
electrical wiring and stuff like that.
Yeah, we so for instance, like right now we're in the process of that at Palms, where we're doing all the electrical wiring. So whether it's the low voltage inside, or whether it's the medium voltage, going to a transformer, we
the
deal
data
with,
lines, the type of
So all of those items, we have to go through that whole process up into a building, and then even while the building's being built, of course, we order everything. So whether it's vanities, whether it's stone, whether it's kitchen cabinetry, of course, tiles, interior doors, exterior windows and doors, blinds. We order and procure all those items internally. We deal with all the shipments. So we load, whether it's in Spain, or whether it's in China, whether it's in the US, we're loading all that, bringing it over, clearing it all. So we have to take care of that whole process all the way through. Then of course do it.
So the question then becomes, how do you balance clients' need with the development making a profit? Well, especially now with all the new tariffs. How are you balancing that now?
Well, first of all, you obviously have to be a profit-making enterprise,
Correct.
or else there's no, it's just going to be just a waste of time. So that's the first thing. Have to be a profit-making enterprise. However, at Palm Cay is a little bit different in terms of that it's not your typical transaction, where, so for instance, I mean, you guys are realtors, but you'll have a client, even if you have a great rapport or relationship with them, you'll do a transaction, and then you may never see them again. Correct. You may, if you have a super strong bond with them, or if you do another transaction, but the likelihood is that's not going to be a part of your day-to-day life. A little different at Palm Cay in that, for instance, we've sold hundreds of units now, now within Palm Cay. I have over the last, 8 years sold, to 200 different families or so forth. And not saying you're in constant communication with them, because of course you're not, but every day
You wave by when you see them on the golf courts. And
every day I'll either speak to clients who are purchasing or have purchased with me, see them around and about, have conversations with, just little conversations.
And get their feedback on how they're enjoying the unit, whatever improvements you want to see or whatever else.
Exactly. So first of all, you have to ensure that you've got that still communication and that people are still happy. Because again, it's Palm Cay's a
community.
proper community.
You're building a community. It's almost like a big family, an extended family of your development.
In terms of their specific needs in regards to a unit, I think we've done a pretty good job over the last decade or so in being able to provide what they need, just from a simplicity standpoint in terms of a unit. In terms of then the wider aspect of their lives, at Palm Cay we do take care of a lot of clients' life admin, because when someone comes to the Bahamas, some people come here and even though they've got a nice unit and a new place and everything's great, they've still got to take care of the whole life admin. So whether it's, I mean, you know, living here, whether it's setting up with BPL or a live, or then if they want to bring a car in or a boat, they want to get a residency set up.
Also, y'all help with all of that.
You have to.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because again, it's not just, you know, just sell them.
Not just sell the unit, walk away.
Yeah, they have to be, you know, comfortable in what they're doing. A lot of people making a big life decision, either to move here or spend a significant amount of time here. And again, we know in the Bahamas, the best part about the Bahamas is what you see behind me. Maybe the more difficult side is just the general life admin. So you do have to assist people with that, because it's not always straightforward.
And obviously this is a huge undertaking. As much as I'd like to believe you have superhuman capabilities, how do you manage the delegation aspect of it? How big is your team? Like, how do you sort of balance that around helping your clients and serving them the best of your ability?
Well, first of all, I definitely don't have any superhuman capabilities. You know, I love a good laugh and joke, and I make tons of mistakes all the time. It's part of the job. You're always going to make mistakes. I'd actually say that's, you know, you have to make mistakes, because you have to be decisive when you do, like, say, a project like Palm Cay or so forth. In terms of the team, so my brother's a huge part. He's only one guy.
Blake.
Yeah, shout out to Blake, my brother, because he does just as much work as me, if not more. And he's a big part of what we do, specifically on the development side going forward in terms of the amenities that we're building out. We've got a whole key village that we're building out with, you know, spa and sports bar, furniture store, liquor store, paddle court, a much larger gym, yoga studio, Pilates. So he does a huge amount, not just in the office, but on site as well. Like right now, he'll probably be in the spa, doing MEP stuff in the spa. Like, I'll give you an example. Like last night, I was actually, I don't take baths that often, but I was having I decided I'll have a bath, and I'm sitting there, and Blake's sending me the heated lounges that he just ordered for the spa, like the stone heated lounges. So that's how we work. That's how we operate. In terms of the team size, it's relatively small it's certainly relatively small.
The core.
Absolutely. But obviously there's great people, you know, around the development. So whether it's, you know, on the marina side, Charlotte, our head of marina operations, who does both, you know, the finance and the, people side as well. Obviously, like I said, I've got Blake.
And sorry, your mom still does the interior design?
Yeah. So she doesn't live here full time. But when we get to the end of a project, specifically when we're doing RH fit outs, she'll come in and she does an unbelievable job.
I mean, just take a look at this unit. I'm sure she curated a lot of the pieces and the design and the style and everything else.
Has an eye for good design.
Absolutely. My dad, obviously, he's the owner of Palm Cay. Again, he's not as maybe involved as he used to be, but he comes and goes. Sometimes he'll be on it 24 hours a day, non-stop, because he'll wake up at 3 a.m. and start like sending out emails and stuff. But then sometimes you won't hear from him for, like, right now he's in Turks and Caicos.
I'm used to seeing him up and down, fixing plants, opening blinds, doing the small details in Palm Cay. You know, he's always moving and shaking to make sure that development looks and feels like how he wants it to be. So
he's a different level when it comes to detail.
Yeah.
Because over the years, certainly, again, myself, like, we've got to a really top end level of detail. But then anytime you sit with him, he'll always go to another level of detail that you maybe not even thought about. So I would just an incredible eye for detail, and then implementation and thinking about potential detail issues that may come up as well. So yeah.
So zooming out from the details to the bigger picture, what was the overall vision? Like, how did that vision come about in developing a $100 million development in the Bahamas, in the heart of Nassau, so to speak? How did that come about?
Yeah, so there wasn't originally, and we're going back to the very beginning, when he bought Palm Cay, there wasn't that vision. He, because he didn't even have that experience of building out no one really does, building out something on this scale. So originally when he bought it, he just looked at an opportunity. great piece of land. Obviously had the
Beach access, marina.
Exactly. And then from there, it took a while, to be honest, before that really came into focus. And then I'd say over the last 10 years or so, we've really, or even down towards the last 5 or 6 years or so, we really honed in on what the end game would be for Palm Cay. And then now we've been, for like I said, the last 5 or 6 years, we've been working solidly towards that business.
I know, because every time we have a conversation, you speak about Palm Cay being a destination in itself, meaning everything is self-contained. So where do you see Palm Cay in the next 10 years?
Yeah, so when Palm Cay's all said and done, finished being built out, which will take another 3 years or so from now, I see it as being the most exciting hub, whether you could place to live in Nassau, or certainly place to vacation and be in Nassau. So for instance, if you look at the value of what you get, value for money in terms of Palm Cay, price point starting at say 700,000, and what you're able to buy into and have tied into all the amenities that we currently have and will have. Obviously, there's the big ticket stuff like the marina. We have the busiest marina in the Bahamas. Then obviously restaurant, beach club, gym, cafe. We're opening up another 2 restaurants this year. All the stuff I previously mentioned about Key Village, and like you said, everything's beautifully self-contained in one spot. And then if you're a boater, there's no better place anyway. So regardless of all of that other stuff, so if you're looking for quality, yep, we have it. You're looking for amenities and stuff to do, whether you're family, whether you're a single person, yep, check that box. If you're a boater, it's already the best place. And then if you're looking for lots of other people to interact with, and whether it's you want to go to a sports bar on a Sunday, have a beer. Oh, you can go do that. You want to go play paddle, whether it's with your buddies or with another couple or whatever. Yep, you absolutely can do that. And then within Palm Cay, the whole point of it is it's nice and peaceful, but there is still a lot of activity as well. So with the site being the size it is as well, 69 acres, it's obviously good. It's a nice size in that it can hold all of the stuff we want it to hold, but at the same time it's not too big. 500, 600 acres where everything gets swallowed up.
So you get lost driving around.
Exactly, where it's not too confusing. It's like, wait, crap, I'll go down there, and it's like actually it's 10 minutes to go get over the other side. Not saying some projects they have to be that size because it's just unbelievable scale. But I think that's what's nice about Palm Cay, and it's turning into a fantastic hub.
How many slips of can the marina hold?
So it's got 194 slips.
194.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good size.
Yeah. In terms of size, we typically don't take over 100. We'll get the odd 105, 106 footer. But the main market for our transient vessels, will typically be between 40 and 90, with again the odd outlier here and there. We get a lot of business from cats. We have a couple of charter companies here, and then quite a few homeowners own cats as well, just because we've got an entire strip, the Eastern Bulkhead, which is specifically tailored for catamarans. Yeah,
that's awesome. So tell us, do you see Palm Cay, the brand itself, moving outside of Nassau, maybe to a family island or somewhere else?
Another country.
Yeah.
You mentioned Turks. I mean, Turks would be the ideal destination for Palm Cay 2.0. Or...
So at the minute, it's still, even though we're somewhat winding down in terms of construction, we're not at the peak of construction anymore. We've still got a lot to do on that side. And then there's going to be, after that, the running of all the commercial activity. So for instance, like right now, we lease out the restaurant, we run the whole membership program. The marina, of course, is a big business. The whole POA side is a lot to take care of. Then there's going to be the running of the spa, the sports bar, our furniture business, which we've set up to do.
And that's called Key Designs.
Yeah, absolutely, Key Design, which we set up to do outfitting in Palm Cay. But obviously, we'll have 400 homes in here, and when people are refurbishing or just want a la carte pieces, that'll be a big business. The liquor store that we're opening, so all the running of all the commercial activity will still take up a lot of time. So. As for Palm Cay 2.0 in another country or an out island,
yeah.
If I'm honest, out island I think would be beyond my capability. I don't don't envy anyone who does invest,
in Exuma or Luther.
couple $100 million in exhibit, just because I already know I know it is difficult in Nassau. And don't get me wrong, someone will succeed eventually with with a large scale development, but it's just it's a gargantuan task.
Yeah.
It's a gargantuan task.
Yeah.
You let them trailblaze, let the other people figure it out, trial and error, and then you guys come in whenever there is a
it's expensive.
population.
It's expensive trial and error.
For sure.
For
For sure.
Well, Jak, if you weren't running Palm Cay, what would you be doing right now then?
Yeah, so when I was younger, say from the age of like 15, 16, I always used to work in bars, cocktail bars, restaurants. So that was I always worked in hospitality, to be honest, when I was a kid. Then I had a business trading crypto. That's actually how we originally met. So I still do stuff with that, to this day. Also, my best friend back in England, he does crypto stuff as well, and he works in hospitality. So I'd probably be doing something with him. He owns one of the largest, used car sale businesses in the UK, or certainly in the Sam, in the north of the UK. So I'll probably be doing something with him, whether it be with his cars, or he also does property and buys them, guts them, refits them. So I'll probably be doing something with him. Yeah.
So sales is still, you think, your main avenue then?
Sales and hospitality.
I guess so. I mean,
something of that.
Sales like at Palm Cay isn't something that say I focus like a massive amount of my time. It just comes with the job.
With the territory, yeah.
Obviously, I'm comfortable with people. I know my product inside and out, so I'm certainly the best person to talk about it. But to be honest, there's other parts of the business that
the operational side of things.
But it's the most important part. 'Cause if you don't have sales in any business, whether it's real estate, restaurant, it doesn't matter. You're nowhere without sales. Yeah.
Speaking of doing things differently, or what could have been done differently, what are some of the lessons that you feel like you've learned from, obviously being a young gun yourself? Like, if you had to do things differently, would you have changed anything? Would you have,
how long have you got? No,
maybe a top 5, like something that sticks out to your mind right now.
So one thing as well that you learned, because I'm a big poker player, and you learn the most important thing in life, or I think is well, two things. First of all, determination, but patience. You've got to be patient. So whether it's here in development, or you take it to a different walk of life, sometimes there's been hundreds of times I can list off where something goes wrong, and at first, when you first couple of years here, you think the world's caving in and that's it, and you learn to just it's okay. It's just these things happen. Yeah. Just be patient. Just stick with it. So there's
try to solve it. Just
hundreds of examples where if you just step back, be a bit patient, make sure you stick to it, things will come good, no problem. So I think a lot comes back to that. There's obviously loads of things in terms of, say, when you're actually building out a building, that we could have saved so much time if we'd just done it like this in the first place, or done it like this. But those things happen, and that's just part of the process, really. So I can't really say that's a.
Question is, what advice then would you give to a young developer who's just getting their foot in the ground? They purchase a couple pieces of property, they're trying to get started to build their portfolio.
I would say you've got to be extremely mentally strong. That's the first thing.
Dealing with government,
dealing with everything, because there's going to be so many times. There's going to be so many, especially when you're starting out. It's different when you're at the level now, but when you're starting out and you're trying to sell stuff, but you're trying to build stuff, and you're just trying to you're just trying to raise yourself. There's going to be so many times where you think, I can't do this, or this is going to work, or so. That's the most important thing, because there will be 100%. There'll be times when you fail, or you are failing, or things have gone wrong, or things are going wrong. You make an order for the wrong product on a container. You might have just wasted $50,000, $100,000. Even small, and that's a small error. But all these things, you just gotta you got to understand that if that's the path you're going to go down, that's what you got to deal with.
I feel like right now, I think Palm Cay, obviously your answer would have been a lot differently 5-10 years ago, right? I feel like right now, Palm Cay as a product is mature enough where you're at a cruising altitude. Whereas 5-10 years ago, you would have been just starting to kind of get up there. Exactly. It would have been a lot differently, the type of stresses and the type of uncertainty that you were going through at the time was a lot differently than right now. Whereas sort of how the trajectory goes and how the product looks. So
yeah, it's kind of like pushing a snowball up a hill, really. You put all your energy into it, and then you kind of realize it once it gets to the top, and you can push it down, basically. Yeah.
Wow. So can Jak list off every single development in Palm Cay by name?
Of course, yeah, absolutely. Okay. In terms of what we've got going on at the minute, I already mentioned.
Start from a lease price. So let's go.
Yeah, absolutely. So what we're building out at the minute in terms of our entry level product, we've got palms and little palms. They start, around 700,000, go up to 2 mil, sizes from 1,400 square foot up to over 3,000.
The anchorages, those would be the.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about stuff we're building right now, of course. So I mean, I know Anchorage well because that was the first thing I did.
Yeah, that was your baby.
That was the first thing I did. I bought one of the units. I rented out for a couple of years. I lived in it. So yeah, no. So when we, in terms of the base of Palm Cay, yeah, Anchorage, we built out phases 1 through 5 of there. We had garden townhomes, which is actually the very first development.
Garden townhomes, yeah.
Within Palm Cay, of course, Starfish Isle. We've got 63 townhomes. Galleon Bay, phase 1, phase 2. We just finished phase 3 now.
Wow.
Obviously, on this side of the development, again, when I first got here, within 6 months or so, I started working on One Marina phase 1, and then since then we've built out phase 2, phase 3, of course, Cove, which has been definitely the biggest
crown jewel, the crown jewel, creme de la creme.
Absolutely. And now, of course, working on One Marina 4, which is the next price point up, basically from Palms, and they start in the mid ones, 1.45. Starting at just over 2,500 square feet, 3 bedroom, 3.5 bath. And then we've got some more products, coming up. We're building out Palms phase 1 and phase 2, which are, essentially the same as phase 1. But then later this year, probably just towards the end of this year, we'll release the Reserve, which is just after One Marina phase 4. So One Marina phase 4 will be the last of the, medium-rise condos.
Yeah, that's these buildings.
And then after that, we're going to have some modern style townhomes that just come around the marina from there. Yeah,
that's a lot. It was like 1 through 5 of each different name. That's a lot to manage. Are you involved with the residential homes and their needs, or once they purchase the lot?
Yeah, yes and no. We don't get involved in the build out, but of course we have to review.
There's restrictive covenants, I'm assuming.
Yeah, so we have Palm Cay covenants and restrictions, but when they submit their plans, I've got to go through. So I start, and then our internal architect as well. Mm-hmm. So I'll go through basic stuff, setbacks, drainage plan. I'll look at some stuff in terms of the building itself. Are the window headers right? Have they got? Is it kind of a bit of a mismatch of stuff, or have they got the correct color? Because we like a colonial style in Palm Cay. We understand that people want to put their own twist on it, or their own, maybe modern twist on it, but it's still got to fit into the look and feel of Palm Cay. Because typically Palm Cay is colonial style. So I look at the plans, and then I'll go through them with our architects, and then I'll send feedback to people. Some people it's quite a lot of feedback or changes that have to be made. Some people it's not, and then from there, we don't get involved in the actual build out.
Interested enough. Speaking on that, I had a couple who traveled to Palm Cay almost every summer with their family. They would stay in Starfish Isle. And it basically got to the point where they realized that they want to buy in Palm Cay. See, the rental aspect of the units in Palm Cay is very accessible,
right.
And basically they went from short-term renters, now they purchase a lot and they're building a home, So that speaks to the look and the feel of Palm Cay and why people want to be here, because everything feels self-contained, inside the community.
And like you mentioned, it also allows short term, which maximizes your earning potential.
Correct.
Right. So if someone comes in here, just wants to use it for vacation home, but wants to rent out the rest of the year, then this will be an ideal scenario for them to be able to enjoy when they come for summers and then rent out whenever they're not using the units. So
absolutely. So short term's not for everyone, and of course there's no stipulation that you have to be involved in. But of course, not everyone wants an albatross sitting there around their neck. If if you live in Canada or the US and you just I've got all this cost. That's not the case with Palm Cay, because obviously you rent out a unit and it can cash flow positively even after all fees and costs are paid. But like I say, it's not for everyone. So for instance, I live here. I don't I don't short term. Again, it depends what your needs are in life. If if you don't want anyone say touching your furniture or going in your unit, then it's no problem, no stipulation.
You guys can handle that, right? You guys can manage persons' properties.
Absolutely. So for instance, we have a full-scale rental management program, which the Welcome Center deals with. So we deal with the marketing, the advertising, obviously the cleaning, the maintenance. So that's another relatively large section of our business as well. Yeah.
Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode of The Sweet Life. It's been an amazing talk with my brother Jak. I hope you got some deep insight into Palm Cay and the development and the future stuff they have planned.
Yeah. So bring your friends, bring your family, come and enjoy the Palm Cay experience. And hopefully we can convert you to get one of the units in here and enjoy the lifestyle. Thank you again, Jak. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you, Jak.
Thanks.
Yeah. All right.